Hi there, welcome to my podcast channel that I call Soliloquest, where I essentially talk to myself and hopefully through that to you if you are tuned in. And I really appreciate if you are tuned in. It would be further nice of you to support my endeavor to make this content by subscribing, sharing, and liking. I really need that as I learn along this journey of mine, making this content, that I need to have minimum number of subscribers, which is more subscribers right now, to even go live. So here it is. My request: if you can, please extend your support. I could really use it right now. All right. With that, there are quite a few things to cover as always in this video, but for video's sake, I would continue to share my journey to the Cape Cod. And if you missed out previous videos, I traveled from central Massachusetts to the starting of the Cape till about that roundabout right after the Bourne Bridge, and roughly you can say. And from there on, all this is Cape, and the drive till the very end to Herring Cove Beach, which is near Provincetown, right at the tip of the Cape. So I figured that it is better to share the video of the drives than my solo face talking. So that anyone could either watch the video and mute the audio and enjoy the drive, or listen to the audio and interact without the need to watch the video as such. I mean, of course, the best part would be to do both. So either way, hope you would relate to the content and the soliloquy all along. Let's begin. Okay, on the news front, it happened and played out as was expected. Trump thumped to victory over Nikki Haley in the home state of South Carolina in the wrap up of the Republican primaries. Now, right after that, he deprived her of any prime importance or prime time importance. You know how he knows how to play it, right? And he did exactly that. Right after that victory, he focused instead on Biden as if she did not even exist. Now, that's a masterclass move. In the aftermath of this debacle, now here's the important thing: the news that Koch brothers or the network or whatever they are is going to pull the backing of the sponsorship of her race. If that is true, then what is left in this race for Nikki Haley? I'm not sure about that, and why she's still in the race and not throwing in the towel. It's it's not clear. So, is there something that is giving her hope and continuing to give her hope? Is that hope drawn from the lingering trials of the order of 300, $400 million lawsuits, settlements, which could, in her assessment, alter Trump's strategic maneuverability or capacity to alter things and change things and position himself? Well, if that's the case, then this space is continuing to throw interesting episodes day after day, hour after hour, and making it so challenging to keep track of it anyway that, you know, until something as big as this comes in, you are almost lost in the trail of incidents and news snippets and press releases which keep coming, and somebody said this and somebody else said that. So yeah, that's the latest, which is interesting in that front. On the primaries, Trump wins, Nikki Haley lost again by a huge margin in her own home state, South Carolina. All right, the second one, I'm not sure if you read this, and again, I don't trust news these days, so this is all hearsay till it is real. So I read this, that in an act so full of generosity that one would well up with tears, feeling touched, that came from AT&T CEO, who apologized for nationwide outage and then seems to have announced $5 credit for customers who were impacted. Now, I can't imagine the joy, but I'm not sure about the people who were really impacted, who were in the middle of something and then the outage happened. For instance, consider this guy who was heading for a job interview and his map won't work out without the data service, and then he missed out on the interview. Or for the kid's mother who wanted to check on the babysitter, who's new, but couldn't reach out to the babysitter and was ridden paranoid. Or probably consider this guy a youngy, yuppie, mobile app using stock trader who was sitting on top of a mountain, ego high, ready to ski down, but couldn't get the network to sell the positions and lost enough money to had to pawn off the car. And it's almost like his life came tumbling down the mountain that he made from a mole of his savings by shorting and all those tactics. Dumb money. Well, the reports of this being just a coding error and not a cyber attack doesn't make it more of a placebo than even a palliative, but those reports are coming out. or are they being pushed out? I don't know. And if it is true that the geomagnetic storm or a powerful solar flare is the said culprit, then rubbing off $5 is how you basically take a stray arrow to yourself. That's what the CEO has done. If it was solar, then why bother? It's not your mistake anyways. And $5 is no generosity in these days, guys. Oh yes, it's another matter. Maybe he thought that $5 basically one third his stock price. So if there is any calculation down there. And you know what? People are so sensitive that Leave the World Behind, the Netflix series, was trending again. Because of this outage, people thought it's apocalypse and whatnot. Is it a tell on who was behind this? Anyone's guess? I mean, are these media executives creating such hoaxes around? I don't know. Is it funny or just crazy that you cannot know who's doing what behind the scenes these days is beyond me. People looking to make 911 calls had to use the text options. I hope you know that. I mean, you could still send texts. So that's the only learning from this whole news snippet. And 911 calls, man, they were not being made. So yeah, people had to use the text options. Well, you'd feel bad for the plight of those who had thumb injury that particular day. But, uh, you know, as they say, one little fart from the sun and one giant blow up for mankind. That's really what happened in this whole episode. Another biggie. At the face of it, it might not appear so. So hear me out and bear with it. Japan gets its first TSMC factory, which is Taiwan Semiconductor Company. And finally, the land of the rising sun wakes up to the glare of political realities, before the tensions between China and Taiwan flare up. Looks like Sony will benefit, and there's another company. Those guys will benefit from this inland chip making. Besides, and this might not sound important, but this is almost a regional level insurance policy for the whole of Western access. In case China walks over Taiwan, the semiconductor risk is just being hedged by this development. So, devil being in the details, but the key thing is that would this materialize before the elections in Taiwan? It looks highly unlikely, and also the outcome of the elections would matter. So, can't say, but definitely a critical move which offers hope for a whole lot of commerce and supply chain dependencies on chips these days. So yeah, I mean Japan and TSMC factory. That's another one. That's a big one, I would say. In my mind, that is. Okay, another. I was reading the White House joint statement on principles of 6G, and I just realized that I almost glanced over the six in that 6G. When did that happen? I thought that US is still struggling to fully implement and make use of 5G after having conceded the loss to China and Huawei. But it looks like 6G is progressing, guys. I mean, and one can only hope that this is no PR gimmick. I mean, it is arms race of sorts, but just for the larger good, hope this is really happening, as this would hopefully bring the real IoT, Internet of Things, synergies, and in fact, IoT. There is something called iOS, which is a new thing I came across, which is Internet of Skills, whereby remote assistance with skills could be extended and imparted in different situations. I mean, robotic arms and surgeries. I don't know what all. This world is getting complex for sure, but interesting at the same time. So IoT, iOS, synergies, and then mobiles. I don't know what next level would be capable of dealing and providing augmented intelligence to us humans and up our game overall. And of course, this is going to be a game changer, but largely a fictional one for now, I guess, till the real things start happening on the ground level. I mean, we all know the current state of the network. I mean, we don't even have network in remote areas of this large country, the first world country, so to say, and we're still struggling with 4Gs and the 5Gs, and they started talking about 6G. Hope it happens. It's good for us all in the larger interest, but it was a little shocker that there's a joint statement coming in. In fact, covering that joint statement, let me just quickly go through the snippets and the bullet points from that joint statement. It is between the governments of United States, Australia, Canada, Czech Republic, Finland, France, Japan, Republic of Korea, Sweden, and UK. It talks about the shared principles for research development of 6G wireless communication systems, open, free, global, interoperable, reliable, resilient, and secure connectivity. They always talk about these fancy words. National security is a key thing, because of course, we've seen what happens when there are trespassers and hackers, and cybersecurity is a major concern these days for any national security, purview. Then there is privacy of individuals and data, and the privacy laws are intact, but they always get challenged by the warring nations and the countries that loggerheads with each other. So that part is there. Then it talks about the setting the technical standards to ensure availability of essential services. Systems should be designed to fail safely but recover even faster and quickly. There is something called inclusive standard setting and international collaborations. This is going to be the way, the methodology they're going to approach with standards across the board. Respect intellectual property rights. That sounds more like a dig at countries that steal technology. And interoperable innovation that should be compatible with different suppliers and their hardwares and softwares. Interoperability between products from different suppliers is the key here, so as to have a global implementation of 6G. Affordability, sustainability, and global connectivity, so that they're able to resupply and replenish the instruments and have more effective implementation. Energy efficiency, deployments, and operation. Bridging the digital divides, delivering reliable coverage, promoting a globally competitive market along with the information communication technology value chain, computing and connectivity continuum. So, the larger words, you can just connect the dots and figure out what is being talked about here. They're trying to set up 6G, which is going to do a lot of things than just sending a text message or a call or a video call. It's going to connect our databases. It's going to provide augmented support to our day-to-day activities, be it from understanding what our preferences are, let's say at home, so that the things and objects would have intelligent chips which can take care of, I don't know, let's say ambient lighting and temperature control, starting the car when we're trying to and leave the house. I don't know, many things. However, the challenge is going to be the chips, and we covered in the last one that the chips manufacturing is a lot of it is the biggest tussle going on, the tug of war right now. It's no more as oil is no more the center of attraction as chips are, clearly, and one would have observed what happened with Nvidia last week. So 6G, guys, I mean 6G is coming out. I don't know when, but joint statement says so that it's being worked upon. All right. Another interesting article I came across was on artificial intelligence, and before you get bored by it, it's on artificial integrity, AI as abbreviation, but something different and very important as a matter of society. What would be the integrity of the artificial devices and artificial intelligent devices and framework and everything that's going to have artificial intelligence? So the integrity around it, would it be socially responsible, ethically accountable? Would it include perspectives and approaches from wide, demographics and corners of society, fringe, fringe parts of the society or not? AI does have the need to have ethical safeguards, ensuring the human dignity and rights, and that's how it will be sustainable, by having a safe social framework. And I think it's a very valid point that has been made on this particular topic, because we do need some sort of inbuilt sensitivity and responsiveness to our norms and value system that we live by. And while it has to be mindful of our, this whole debate of AI versus humans who would survive or not, the whole point is that larger existence and planetary uh, thriving of species, that has to be included in these discussions as well. It should not be at the expense of one species or the other. So it is not humans versus AI, but combining the synergies of or multiplying the value add that AI can bring to our growth and progress as a species on the planet. Apparently, I mean, of course, there's this whole curve whereby we can talk about interplanetary movements and all that, which will come probably later. But right now, the basics, and to derive exponential benefits for our progress and our basic problems that we are still trying to solve for good. So this whole framework needs to consider inputs from all stakeholders, and who need to have an active participation as representation and not just mere checkbox uh, from the broader spectrum and their representatives in decision making, and in designing objectively uh, the whole framework itself. It obviously will have some sort of self-regulation. That's the whole intent and purpose to begin with, but it should be based on ethical codes of integrity and morality and ability to take risk to the levels permissible or arrived at through meaningful discussions. So that is what this is about, the artificial integrity. And of course it needs to deal with those ethical dilemmas by enriching our moral by enriching the moral compass of the artificial intelligent um, devices, I would say. And it also requires sort of a flexibility that these systems need to have to be dynamic to align themselves for our complex and evolving society. I think besides talking about explainability, their accountability, uh, there will be trade-offs for on those accounts of explainability or unexplainability, and also limited by how much interpretability would they have, and that's how we'll be able to arrive at effective usages where there'll be enough trust, if you get what I mean, to rely on AI systems without human intervention, essentially. Because the whole point is effective, speedy, error-free, and accurate decision making. So there might be temptations of complete autonomy, but critical decisions would continue to remain under human control for quite some time till this trust is built on. So it's going to be a long road, of course. Uh, so another term which I came across, and I still need to read on it, but if you can, I'll just throw it out, was AI quotient. And again, it's a very interesting term on AI. What is the intelligence of the humans? How are they trained around humans and their companies, of course, the organizations? How are they trained around AI and their usage? How to implement them? How to utilize them? Of course, within the safeguards and all the strategies and everything in place. So that's another term, AI quotient, that I came across, and I need to definitely read on this because this is very interesting. As this whole field is developing leaps and bounds, so it is difficult and challenging to keep up with it, but it is very, very important because this is going to be the way of life going forward, I see. So I just thought of picking these two topics up and including them here as well. Well, that brings me to the end of this video. We have reached the exit for this town called Dennis, one of the loveliest towns, lovelier towns, I would say, on the Cape, with a nice harbor, a quiet beach for calm sunset, and all that. Uh, I like this town a lot. We are still one third on the journey to the end of the Cape, and please continue watching for the remaining parts of this drive in the upcoming videos with more things to talk about and think about. All right, that's a wrap on this episode. Until next time, have a good one. Bye bye.